Do I think about restoring the Roman Empire? Nah, I'm not really like a Bizaboo or Romaboo or anything like that. I'm kind of cool with them being in the past. You think you want the Roman Empire, but you don't. No, I'm joking. What was that from? Blizzard? And then they made the WoW Classic anyway. You think you want WoW Classic, but you don't. Yeah, there's like a lot of stuff in Roman society that I don't think people would be very chill with. I mean, especially the fact that like a lot of the people saying, yeah, bring back the Roman Empire. You wouldn't have citizenship. You would be the equivalent of like a serf. you would be just like a regular slave working in the fucking I don't know, the mines. Going down a silver mine with no tools because they didn't have any. Well, they did have tools, but they didn't have like modern tools. And then it's like, okay, you want to live in the biggest city in the world, Rome. Cool. Enjoy being crammed into essentially what is essentially an apartment block full of like, hey, you share a room with like 10 people. And oh, by the way, the building caught on fire and your landlord caused it because you wouldn't pay for rent? Because he charged a rent increase? So you know what they did? They just burnt the buildings down with the people inside them because and they had insurance on the building, so it was cheaper for them to burn the buildings down with you inside it and get new tenants than to, you know, fight you on that type shit. That's new to me. This is how you do your history lectures? I do history lectures on stream, yes, but I have like an actual professional setup. I'm just joking about history. We're just like riffing on history at the moment. No way they would torch down the building. You should look into that. There is Roman landlord. Supposedly Marcus Crassus would wall buildings, oh no, okay. Supposedly Crassus had some little fucky-wucky stuff involving waiting for buildings to be burnt down to buy them for very cheap. Crassus being the very wealthy person. And then he, you know, you could make the allegation that perhaps he is the one causing them to be burnt down, right? And yes, they had a for-profit fire department as well, which he probably owned. Which is, I think, a thing in the Roman. It was like, hey, if you don't pay for their services, they won't save your building, right? They would extort people to put the fire out. If they didn't pay, he would watch it burn and buy the land. Yes. Yeah. That's the sort of shit that Crassus was on. Who's the nice guy of Roman history? There was that guy who always just had extravagant house parties. I think he was pretty chill. The Gracchi brothers. Were they chill? I mean, Bacchus is the god. Right. Didn't one of them just travel around throwing parties? Yeah, well, I mean, Roman doctors were very fun. I've said this a million times. Roman doctors were, like, so close to figuring out, like, basically most of modern... Well, they weren't super close, but they couldn't, like, some of them did actually get pretty close to understanding how we understand, like, you know, science and germs and all that stuff works. They got pretty close. But they also, at the same time, would... at the same time, the advice was, hey, if you get sick, you should travel because when you go on a holiday, you feel better. Because you're happy. So inevitably, people would get sick and then just spread the germs across the Roman Empire. Because they would feel a bit unwell and go, I'm gonna travel. So, as a result, they would just spread disease. Because, you know... Well, I feel a bit ill. Base advice for mental health? Yeah, it could help for mental health. I imagine... Aside from the fact that you would definitely need to fund your supplies yourself, right? For travel. And you would need like a, I don't know, like a horse or a chariot or a wagon or something to get you around. I imagine traveling is not that expensive back then? Maybe.